Have you ever wondered about the story of Pentecost? Specifically, why tongues of fire? It's such a wild, dramatic image in the Bible, but what does it actually mean? Well, the answer is kind of like a brilliant detective story that connects the New Testament all the way back to the Old. So let's get into it.
Okay, so let's picture the scene from the book of Acts. You've got all the believers gathered in one place. Suddenly, the whole room fills with this sound, like a crazy rushing wind. And then they see what looks like individual flames of fire just separating and resting on top of each person there. It's a powerful and honestly a pretty mysterious moment. To really get what's going on, we have to rewind way back. You see, the key to unlocking the meaning of this fire isn't really in the New Testament at all. It's hidden in an ancient prophecy, like a breadcrumb trail left hundreds and hundreds of years earlier. So to figure out what's happening in Acts, we've got to jump back to the book of the prophet Zephaniah.
All right, this is our first major clue. It comes from a prophecy in Zephaniah, chapter 6. This passage is just packed with predictions about the Messiah, and it sets up a puzzle that, at first glance, seems totally impossible to solve.
So listen to the specific language here. The prophecy is about this future Messiah, who it calls the branch, and it says he's going to do two really specific things. He will build the temple, and he will serve as both a priest and a king ruling from a throne. What's really interesting is that this prophecy was given while someone was literally placing a crown on the high priest at the time, a guy named Joshua, or in Hebrew, Yeshua.
Okay, so let's break this down into a little checklist. The prophecy lays out 4 key things. 1, the Messiah's name will be Yeshua, which is the name that becomes Jesus. 2, he's going to uniquely combine the roles of priest and king. 3, he will build the temple. And 4, people from far away are going to come and help him build it. And this is where our puzzle gets tricky. That third point, that the Messiah will build the temple, seems to fly right in the face of another famous prophecy about him. It creates a paradox that honestly looks like a major contradiction. So here's the paradox right here. The prophet Zechariah says the Messiah will build the temple, but then the prophet Malachi says the Messiah will suddenly come to his temple. I mean, for him to come to a temple, it has to already be there, right? So, which is it? Does he build it, or does he just show up to one that's already built? This is the big question. It's a real logical pickle. How can you be the builder of something that is already standing there, just waiting for you to arrive? It just doesn't seem possible. Unless the very definition of what a temple is was about to be completely turned on its head. And that brings us to the solution. The answer to this whole paradox isn't about blueprints or stone blocks. It's about a complete and total reimagining of what a temple is. And Jesus himself gives us the key to solving this whole thing. You know, Jesus made this really baffling statement one time. He said, "Destroy this temple, and I'll raise it in 3 days." Now, everyone around him thought he was talking about the massive physical building there in Jerusalem. But the text makes it super clear the temple he was actually talking about was his own body, which he would rebuild through his resurrection. This changes everything. The new temple wasn't going to be a physical place in Jerusalem anymore. It was going to be a spiritual reality, a community of people whose very hearts would become the new dwelling place for God's Spirit. He wasn't building with stone and mortar, he was building with people. And that new understanding of the temple brings us right back to our original question. It's the key that finally explains those tongues of fire on Pentecost. Suddenly, it all just clicks into place. Check out this incredible parallel. Think way back to when Solomon dedicated the very first physical temple. The Bible says fire came down from heaven as a sign, and the glory of God literally filled the building. Okay, now, fast forward to Pentecost. This is the dedication of the new temple, the one made of people. And what happens? Tongues of fire come down, and the Spirit of God fills the people. It's the same pattern. So that's what the fire was. It was the inauguration. It was like a divine ribbon-cutting ceremony. The tongues of fire on Pentecost had the exact same purpose as the fire at Solomon's temple. It was the unmistakable sign that God was officially moving in,
taking up residence in his new, living, human temple.
With that aha moment, we can now go back to that checklist from Zechariah's prophecy and see how this one event, the creation of a new kind of temple, perfectly fulfills every single point of the puzzle.
So let's run through it. Was the Messiah's name Yeshua? Yup, check. Was he both a priest and a king? Check. Did he build the temple? Yes, he rebuilt it in 3 days through his resurrection, which established this new community of believers. And were people from far away involved in building it? Absolutely. On that very day of Pentecost, people from all over the known world became believers, becoming the very first living stones of this new temple. And just think about this for a second. The physical temple building in Jerusalem, it was destroyed in the year 70 AD and has never been rebuilt. But this new spiritual temple, well, it's been under construction ever since, for almost 2,000 years now. For nearly 2 millennia, this temple built from people from every nation on earth has been growing, day by day.
So we'll end with this thought. The story of Pentecost isn't just about some strange historical event with wind and fire. It's the story of a fundamental, game-changing shift in where God chooses to dwell. And it leaves us with a really compelling question for today. If a temple is simply the place where God lives, where exactly is that temple being built right now?